electrical career today.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Tailored Lights is your go-to local manufacturer and installer of the best landscape lighting. Tailored Lights is excited to highlight the architecture of your home or business and provide a warm environment that feels safe. And for those outside the Lincoln area, they do ship across the country and are happy to work with anyone near or far with lights anywhere from 18 inches to 110 inches. Enhance your curb appeal with an exquisite tailored light today. Call 402-432-2572 or go to tailoredlights.com.
I could write a commercial telling you how great waffle weekends are at the chocolate season. Or I could just have Rico read you the menu.
Banana Nutella. Nutella topped Belgian waffle with homemade whipped cream, chocolate chips, and freshly sliced bananas. Baconator. Buttermilk waffle with bacon slices tucked inside, topped with salted whipped butter, caramelized pecans, and pure maple syrup.
Waffle weekend brunches at the chocolate season.
PB&J.
40th and Old Cheney or online at thechocolateseason.com.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for high-quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Welcome in to the Ahman Green Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 12-year NFL veteran.
He's got some speed to go with strength.
Huskers and Green Bay Packers Hall of Famer.
Shovel pass to Green into Vikings territory. Finally brought down.
And University of Nebraska esports coach.
Green all by himself. 20, 10, touchdown. 98 yards and a Lambeau leap.
Here is your host.
Welcome into the Ahman Green Show. I'm your host, Ahman Green. Got my man Harrison in Lincoln on the ones and twos. How you doing, Harrison?
Doing great down here in Lincoln. We had Heavenly and Waffles here at the 1040 studios this morning from 8 to 11.
Nice.
That's always great. Shout out to Chef Bob for the work he does. Have you had a chance to try the Heavenly Waffles yet?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have, Harrison.
Okay, great. I feel bad if Ahman didn't get a chance for those because those are – he knows what he's preparing up there. But, yeah, it's doing great. We got some bowl games on the TV right now. We got NBA later. Unfortunately, the Detroit Pistons did not get it. They get 41 from Cunningham on 51, over 50% true shooting percentage. I think it was like 51 on the dot.
Right.
Yeah, just tough for them. Monty Williams, Kate Cunningham. A chip, I don't know, when it finally turns around, but didn't quite happen last night for him either.
It will. It's going to come in time. It's just a matter of, players being on the same page and then, understanding where they are and looking at it as a new frame of reference and not thinking that they're a terrible team. It just, it is what it is. Not much we can change about it. And so let's go out here and play the remaining, 60 games left and just give it our, just play for pride's sake, like I talked about yesterday. And that's all you could do. There's nothing you could change about the 28 losses and the 2 wins that you have now. You got to just come out there and practice. And this is where you find out, how much you love the game that you play and that you're a pro at right now.
Yeah, and speaking of, pride, I'm curious what your thoughts are for with these bowl games, especially in the era we live in now, with the portal being available, it seems like when the semester ends, a lot of players are kind of waiting for that door to open. You're seeing more and more players every year not quite playing in those bowl games. What are your thoughts on that? Because it's such a different product from when you were there.
Yeah. When I first started to see it a few years ago, 5-6 years ago, I'll be like for some of the situations for the kids coming out of college, I say that makes sense because you don't wish, you don't want to bar injury going into a bowl game. You want to make sure your stock is high because now you're going into the real world. But when it's something more than that, then it's like, what's going on? What was this person thinking? What was the player told? Things, what did they know before making their decision? To see the kids jumping in the transfer portal after they had, I say, for players that we had, like Chuba Purdy had a pretty good season. I mean, it wasn't obviously not an ideal season, but it was a season of growth. And to see him jump into the portal, I'm like, man, I wonder what did he see from his point of view to make that decision? Because I'm like looking at it, I think he's in a prime position, having Dylan Raiola coming in and having the quarterbacks that are there in the room with him, including himself, that they got a pretty good room of QBs. And so for him to, just and up and leave, it's just interesting to, just to know, to have a conversation with him, say, what was your thought process through that? Because now when you go through there, you got to reestablish yourself wherever you get picked up, wherever you get signed to, Ohio, say if he drops into Ohio State because McCord is gone, you got to reestablish yourself at a whole nother school, from just the basics, from the team, the players, the coaches, the administration of the team, of the athletic department, to then your actual classes, and then getting the lay of the land, knowing where the grocery store is at, knowing where everybody hangs out at after practice, or, what's the spot on campus where to go, where to get my books from, stuff like that. So it's just like all that has to start over from scratch. And now you're a junior or a senior. It's like, and so you got to think about that. I hope they thought about, I hope a lot of players think about that before they make a final decision, not just going off the fact that, I'm not saying Chuba thought this is like, oh man, I'm not playing, so I want to go somewhere where it's better. No, because sometimes the grass is not always greener on the other side. That is a true statement. Whoever created that cliche, hey, hope they made a lot of money on it, because it's been used and will be used in this setting when you look at things, when you're thinking your situation is not as good, but when you get to the other side, you're gonna find, oh, you know what, I didn't have it bad over there. It wasn't that bad. It's just it's a live and learn thing for sure. 100% live and learn thing.
Yeah, and as Bryce points out on the text line, again, 402-464-5685, Starter Heyman text line, a little bit different when you guys at your time were especially competing for national championships. So sitting out would never really cross your guys' mind. But when you do watch a lot of these bowl games, it does feel like some teams are almost disappointed to be in the bowl game that they're in. And then you have teams like Minnesota who just scraped in with 5 wins, but they still managed to get the win over Bowling Green.
Right.
Next year with this 12-team playoff format, we can try to revitalize a little bit what these bowl games are. I mean, it's great in some stands because, you got second, third string quarterbacks getting their first career start in a bowl game, which, what a way to start off your college career. But at the same time, it's a little bit weird at times, like watching Virginia Tech today. They played great, but nonetheless, it feels like it meant a lot more to them than it did to Lane. So when it comes next year, how much do you think that fixes these bowl games and trying to get some of that
excitement?
Excitement back into them.
I think it's going to fix everything. It's going to definitely, obviously, the obvious thing, it's going to add more teams to the fray, right? Once you get to the playoff fray of next season, it's going to be interesting. The thing that I will see, that we will all see next season with the 12-team format, it's going to be some blowouts, because we're going to have teams coming from, I believe, beyond the Power 5, obviously, that are making in there, like Liberty, that made it, that would have been in there this year, being undefeated. And you're going to see teams like that go against, if they're the lower seed, they're going to go against the top seed, like Alabama or Michigan, or if USC could ever get it together. They had a great quarterback. You thought, this was their season. He's a Heisman trophy winner last year. He was a Heisman candidate this year, and Caleb Williams. And they had a good season. They played tonight. They were 7-5, but you think with the caliber of talent, you got Jerry Rice's son, you got wide receivers out the back door that want to catch the ball, that can catch the ball, that will go catch the ball, and a run game and a defense that is athletic as the best. I say probably the most athletic defense. That doesn't mean they're the best, but that means they're the most athletic defense I've seen between their defensive ends. I couldn't tell the difference between a defensive end and a wide receiver when I was watching USC play. And you see them sitting at 7-5. And but come next year, you're going to have these matchups. You might see some upsets too. And now that's going to keep the bigger teams, the Power 5 teams that usually are in the playoff or in a substantial bowl game, to be like, hey, we can't take these teams lightly, regardless of what conference they came from. The players, like we were just talking about Detroit yesterday and today, they got pride. And so that coaching staff could say, hey, yeah, we're outnumbered. We're playing against a Big Ten school, or we're playing against a SEC, ACC school, Pac-12 school. But you know what? This is our one opportunity to put our flag in the sand and say, and not today. And so you don't want to come up against that type of problem in a lower seed game. And that's what you're going to see. And I think that's going to be the excitement of it, because you see that in the NCAA basketball. You have a 64 team thing, spread. And you have number one seeds that get upset every year in the first or second round. And so that is going to bring that type of level. And I think college football definitely needed. I believe college football needed this because of the transition of trains going on in the college era, from NIL, transfer portal. And you have now esports. You have so many different things that kids have options to do. So now where's the attention going? I mean, we have the women's volleyball team is catching the headlines now. And so sports is being kind of spread out among a different ways to view, for us to watch, and everybody's watching everything, right? You're watching football, you're watching baseball, you're watching basketball, you're watching volleyball, you're watching
making
bowling.
A run last year
right.
with LSU and Iowa, like the amount
exactly.
of
You're watching it. I remember sitting there watching Caitlin and LSU go at it, and even her taking her team through the Big Ten and to the NCAA, how she's popping off, shooting dunk, finger gun fingers and all that, hitting threes. And it's like, man, we got a lot of stuff to watch, beyond me being a nerd and watching all the Marvel What If episodes on Disney Plus that are out there right now, trying to catch up. The sports world is so many avenues where you could open an app, click your television, and be like, all right, I'm gonna watch the ladies basketball game today, or I'm gonna watch the bowling team play today, or the volleyball team do this. So it's everybody's fighting for that headline, or not the headline, that main stage, which it should be. It should be like that, because there's talented athletes everywhere in every sport. So that right there, this 12-team playoff is there because of that, because everybody's reading. If you're one of those people that are on the committees of the FBS, you're seeing the stats come in, the viewership coming in from ladies basketball to men's basketball to the football, to the softball, to the volleyball, to the tennis, to the swimming, whatever. You're looking at the viewership and where it's going and who's watching what, if it's on a phone, if it's on a TV, and you're looking at these numbers. You're like, oh man, we gotta make something. We gotta mix this thing up. We gotta make it interesting and make it more of a thing to come watch, because if not, because how long we've been talking about this thing has been going on since I was on the football field television, figuring out a true number one. And now we hopefully got the format. We thought we had this format last about 4 years ago when it got created, but it was only 4 teams. And even then I said, that's not enough teams. I'm like, what? I was like, what did they miss?
Room for error non-existent.
Right.
When you want to go with just 4, you cannot afford to miss. And you have years like this where there's multiple teams that have a legitimate argument, to where it's kind of hard to, even if you're right with your selection, the Georgia or obviously
Florida State,
they totally have a legitimate argument, despite whatever, putting Texas and Alabama in there makes sense. But those teams definitely had an argument why they could have been in there as well. 100%. So I'm right there with you. And again, you get those 12 teams in there. Arguing about the 13, 14 team that didn't get in is a hell of a lot better than the number 4 team in the country. And I think in football too, it's going to help spread that talent around. Now, I think especially with the transfer portal era, the NIL era, all these players, if they're really thinking about going next level, it's like, okay, what are my schools here? Who can really develop me, put me on the main stage so I can go pro? They're thinking Michigan, obviously Texas, Alabama. Texas is more recent, but you're always going Georgia, Alabama.
Sarkisian in Texas is doing a really good job in development.
Mm-hmm. So my hope is this will also kind of help spread that talent around, because now to get into the playoffs, you don't necessarily need to be on those dominant teams year after year after year that we're seeing. So you can, take your chances on Tulane. It's like, you know what? They're good enough. They've been dominating in their conference. Let me give it a shot there, even though they would unfortunately lose in their bowl game 20-41. That's what I was kind of talking about earlier too. You got 23 ranked Tulane, Virginia Tech 6-6 team that has been desperate to get back into bowling, try to make some waves there. And it looks like they really wanted that game. And it also was a rough weather game. I don't know if you're able to catch that one.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of it. I caught like a couple, I think the second half of it. I didn't catch the first half. I caught the second half of it.
Yeah, so monsoon, it's like that definitely played a little bit into the turnovers. That's just tough weather to come by as a whole. But yeah, it's great. Especially we saw it with bowling once they threw Nebraska bowling on the Big Ten Network. It's pulled in more numbers than they thought it would. And I think it's just going to keep getting better. My only beef is the streaming platforms. That's when it gets tough, when I'm trying to find where the game's at, and I got to go to Fubo, ESPN, Fox. Those can always be tough.
Yeah, we had I'm sorry, go ahead. So I'll say real quick, I had the problem over the weekend with the Buffalo game. It was on, so it's NBC coverage, but it was only on Peacock. And so with our package, we have Xfinity. It's like Allo in Nebraska. So Xfinity, even though I had NBC, which I'm thinking, okay, I could get the game easy, but it was exclusively only you had to download the Peacock app to watch the Buffalo game, which I'm like, oh, really? They really trying to force you into that $8.99 a month? Come on, people. I'm like, what is going on? So yeah, I know what you're talking about there in terms of where to find the app and where to find the app to watch the game.
Yeah, and it's always interesting, but I do think it feels like we're in a little bit of a golden age in sports, especially seeing how the WNBA still seems to be the toughest one, trying to garner the more viewership for that one. And we've talked about that before, but man, volleyball, women's basketball, we talked about bowling. It just feels like everything's up. NFL, they single-handedly dominated the Christmas holiday. That was always kind of the NBA's time to really shine.
Yeah.
And this year was the NFL. And you go back 10 years ago, Mark Cuban saying that the NFL is going to run into problems. They're going to oversaturate their own market. Hasn't really been the case. Their Christmas numbers were absolutely insane. I think the only days the NFL won't play anymore are Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but they'll play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday. And they pretty much dominate. When they're on, people watch. Do you think the NFL can ever get to a dangerous point where maybe they do oversaturate the games that are on TV?
I think so. I believe so. And it was be coming down to the Saturday games, because now in bowl season, you have, like last Saturday, we had 2 NFL games, and then you had bowls going on too. So it's like back probably 10 years ago it was like more of bowl season, college football on Saturdays, even at the evening, or say the morning. It was a morning time too. But this game, like if an NFL game came on a Saturday, being like a 7 o'clock kickoff, okay, because the bowl games are played during the day, like a 12 o'clock and a 3 o'clock kickoff. But now you had NFL pretty much all day, just like on Christmas. You had all day with the NBA too, like you mentioned. It was just, so I think that part that's where they might find their bump in the road, because viewers want to see the kids play, the college kids play. And for some of the games where you say, now are they playing, you mentioned this back with Virginia Tech, who's playing for what? Like, who really wants to win this bowl game, and who's just like, I don't even want my lunch that I had down here for this bowl game. I don't want the watch. I don't want the swag bag. Who's really down here for what? So that's the point where like I say, NFL may fall a little short of viewership on that day, come bowl season.
Yeah, and for the most part, I think, even if it is a little bit of a fall, just the NFL, the product they are right now, doesn't really seem to matter. The controversies they may or may not get into, the viewership pretty much stays consistent with them all the way through. I think if it ever got to a point where it's oversaturated, they would have to be playing just about every single night, or maybe they're, you got all these other leagues going on at the same time, but just feels like NFL is king. The NBA, I feel bad for them. You know, people always say the NBA season doesn't start until Christmas. You can't even argue that it started on Christmas yet because the viewership just really hurt them with the NFL. The midseason tournament, I think, was a good try, especially this year, knowing that was going down. But in terms of overall success, I think that midseason tournament, they still want to get a little bit more numbers on there. But the NBA is in a little bit of a flux too now to get their consistent viewership early in the season. It helped this year with all the fights. We've talked about plenty of those before. Draymond Green with all his ejections. Obviously,
his career might be over right now. It's unfortunate. It's like, come on, man, get it together, Draymond, please. We share the same name. We don't have that much animosity in our soul as Greens, okay? Even though I don't think we're related, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, and when watching Draymond Green with how long do you think it is before he gets back? Because it sounds like he's really just got to talk to the counselors and he's just got to get the A-OK that, you know what, you're good to get back on the court.
Right. I don't know about the time. I just know it's going to be when he in his head and shows to people his attitude and knowing that he can't just do the things that he's been doing on the court, during the game, and in practice. Because I caught, like, after the incident that just recently happened to him and get suspended, they replayed what he did to his teammate last year.
Oh, it's Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole. And I didn't really see it the first time. I saw it like it was a blurred camera angle. It was a weird camera angle. It was kind of blurred film.
Yeah, it was in the practice gym. I think it was like an overhead angle.
Right.
Practice tape.
So when this new incident happened and they replayed it, I saw a clear view and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, yeah, man, bro, he punched Mr. Poole like he stole something.
Yeah, I would love to know the words that were exchanged between them because there was a little bit of chirping. Obviously, it's kind of hearsay on what was actually said. Jordan Poole and Draymond Green kind of both got their stories. Money seems to be the main conversation. And I think Draymond Green pretty much denied a lot of the comments he was saying. But it is an interesting scenario. And the Warriors, they really need him. I always, it's easy to bash on Draymond Green for all the ejections, but he still, in my opinion, is a really good player, especially defensively. Playmaking, he's still all of that what he was. The shooting numbers aren't as great, but you've pretty much known that for a while, is that some of his shooting numbers were a little bit fluky early on, but you still need to have him out there. And the Warriors right now, if they're going to make any sort of run, they got to have him back, and they got to figure out, the Chris Paul situation, how they're going to really get him involved into the rotation, because it's looking pretty similar to last season already, outside of some teams that are maybe surprising like the Houston Rockets, but in reality, I don't think anyone's expecting too far deeper runs from them. But we do have to go ahead and throw it to our first break here on the Ahman Green Show. And don't go anywhere. We got plenty of ticket weeknights here ahead. We do have the DeMornay Pearsonell on the Don't Punt Hour, and he's bringing in Kyron Williams. One of his former teammates have the interview there as well. And, of course, the Don't Athlete Project, follow that one. So don't go anywhere. Ahman Green Show. Harrison, Ahman Green, host as always. We'll talk to you guys on the other side.
Experience flexibility like never before with Ace Rent-to-Own. Whether you're decorating a new home or upgrading your electronics, they provide easy payment plan options that suit your budget. No credit checks, no hefty interest rates, just straightforward renting solutions designed with you in mind. Find great options to make a beautifully furnished space or surround yourself with the latest gadgets. With Ace Rent-to-Own, it's all within your grasp. Visit acerentoown.com and bring home more than just a product. Bring home a lifestyle.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken lips. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
This is Rick Heyman from Sartor Heyman Jewelers, inviting you to our new outlet jewelry store at 12th and O in downtown Lincoln. Amazingly, we still have fabulous items we bought 1 year ago and beyond. Well, you know what an outlet store is. Unbeatable prices throughout the store. Closeouts up to 70% off. Don't delay. When it's gone, it's gone. You won't see everything on our website, so you gotta come in. The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Opening November 25th in Lincoln at 12th and O.
I could write a commercial telling you how great waffle weekends are at the chocolate season. Or I could just have Rico read you the menu.
Banana Nutella topped Belgian waffle with homemade whipped cream, chocolate chips, and freshly sliced bananas. Baconator buttermilk waffle with bacon slices tucked inside, topped with salted whipped butter, caramelized pecans, and pure maple syrup.
Waffle weekend brunches at the chocolate season.
PB&J.
40th and Old Cheney or online at thechocolateseason.com.
This is Jeff Essing, owner of Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping and host of Fitness Fanatics. Over the years, we've helped countless people gain strength, lose fat, build confidence, and change their life. And it all starts with the Farrell's 10-week challenge. Now is the best time to sign up with the new year right around the corner. You can enroll for the January 10-week challenge for only $299. That's 10 weeks of kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching. Head to fxblincoln.com for more information on how to enroll. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
John Henry's would like to remind you, if you haven't already, to unhook your outdoor hoses and check faucets for leaks so your pipes don't freeze. As the official plumber of the Huskers, you know who to call when a plumbing issue arises. From frozen pipes to clogged drains, we can help you protect your home this winter. Give John Henry's a call today to schedule at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Old School with DP&J.
We got a special guest in. We got Jason Peters.
All that's being asked of you is everything. Like, you have to give everything that you have to that program, to that team. If you want to be a champion, that's the only way, right? I mean, you have to commit to every lifting session, every strength and conditioning session, during the summer, during the spring, whatever it may be. It just has to be 100% commitment by everybody.
This is the Ahman Green Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into the Ahman Green Show. I'm Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. Host, as always, Ahman Green, streaming in from Houston. Talked a little bit, going all over the board there, talking sports, kind of the glory age
everything.
seems like we're in these days. And of course, if you guys ever want to join the show, 402-464-5685. We do have some bowl games on here right now. We got the Duke's Mayo Bowl. It looks like North Carolina
and West Virginia.
West
Virginia.
West Virginia is up 17-10 right now. So again, these are kind of the bowl games where it's hard to gauge what the real engagement is. I know the last bowl game that Nebraska had, it meant a lot for us, but for a lot of these teams, again, it's just a weird era we're in where it seems like they lost a little bit of value. But I do want to ask you, how important is that practice leading up to those bowl games? Because I think that's the one thing that Nebraska fans really want out of it. It's not necessarily so we can say we won, the Pop-Tart Bowl or whatever one we may end up in. Right. I think it's the practice, the extra time that you can get with the players and the staff. How critical is that to actually continuing to develop a team?
It's 100% critical. It's a thing that between being a player and where I'm at now, that it's emphasized basically going back to basics, because at the end of an NFL season, end of a college football season, your body is like wore out. You get that lull. We hear a lot of commentators talk about it. And one thing I did not feel my rookie year in Seattle was that November, December, January lull, where college football athletes be like, man, I'm tired, usually because the season's over by then. I didn't have that because we were playing well into January because of the college bowl games that we went to. We were playing day one or January 1st or national title bowl games, which was the last bowl game of the bowl season. And so that's what you're coming across here is these young, athletes are physically kind of reaching the end of their of the road for them. And in NFL, that's where I see some of these teams too. With this 17th game, I'm like, ooh, I say you got to look at going back to basics. So I remember coaching high school football, probably my 8th or 9th year at Freedom High School. It was a small high school. We made it to the playoffs both seasons I was there. And I remember something that I saw on TV at that time. This was 2018. And I saw something that Bill Belichick talked about, how he coached up his players and his team going into the playoffs. And he said, I'm one coach that would never sit my players if we clinched already, where you have 2 or 3 teams in the NFL that's already clinched and won the division, like the Detroit Lions, right? He said, so Tom Brady will come up, don't ask. You're playing. We're not benching you because we need to save you for the playoff. No, we need you now. We need you to stay in rhythm. So if anything, you're going to play the first half, if not the whole game. So just keep that in your mind, but don't come asking. I'll let you know, like a parent, I'll let you know when we're going to pull you out. So you got to have that mentality. It's like you got to play through these games. And then when I say go back to get basics, start working on the stuff you worked on day one of training camp, working on your tackling, working on your catching, working on things that might have deteriorated throughout the season. And so tackling is one. And that's the one thing I brought up, because that's what Bill's like. We go back to basics on tackling drills for our professional athletes. So I'm like, wait a minute, if the pros are doing this, and this is the Patriots at the time, they were still winning Super Bowls. You know what? I told my head coach, hey, why don't we just go right back to basics and have this first day of our playoff practice feel like a training camp practice, because then our bodies are now kind of like worn out a little bit, but they've forgotten some of the technique, because now we were getting into games. We got school, we got tests, we got we got Thanksgiving coming up, here at that time of the year for playoffs in Wisconsin at that time. So let's get them back to what they know best, and then teaching the technique on stuff that we know. We've seen some of the players kind of lose the technique throughout the season. And so just to remind them, hey, this is the basic drills of tackling, catching, throwing, holding on to the ball when you're a ball carrier. It's through that. And then obviously hit our drills, hit our installment of offense and defense, special teams, to make sure, kind of refresh the brain a little bit and not go back in that, creature of habit thing of this is week 15 now. And we've done this for 4 months now. And so now you got to refresh the mind. And I'll say real quick, I remember my freshman year, before we played the Florida Gators in the Fiesta Bowl in Arizona, we played 2 full football games. We had an 80-play scrimmage in Lincoln a day before we left. We woke up that morning, flew to Arizona, and the day after we landed, we had another 80-play scrimmage. So we played 2 full games.
Full pads?
And we did this full pads. Everybody was live. Tommy, Scott, everybody, Brooke, everybody was live.
I don't think you would ever see that today. That's awesome that it happened, but I don't think you're ever seeing that. I don't think rules wouldn't let you, I don't think.
When I say everything, you know how in the radio station there in the studio, it says live?
Mm-hmm.
That was the sign on Tommy's head, over on Scott's head, Matt Turman, everybody who was a quarterback run. It didn't matter. It was live scrimmaging. LP, me, Clinton, Damon, Jay Sims, Brandon Hobart, whoever was it was full contact scrimmages. And I'm like sitting there as a freshman, I'm like, we played a whole game. I was like, some of the games don't have 80 plays. I was like, wait a minute. We just did a whole game.
Those practices?
They were 80-play scrimmages. 80 plays. So that
like,
so you talking about
2 hours?
So yeah, about 2.5 hours. Yeah, almost like a football game. I was like, and so now it made sense. And it clicked in. Oh wow, we're about to kick off in the Gators' butt. We're playing games. We're not just scrimmaging and practicing. We're playing we had it set up just like a game. We kicked the ball off. We had 4 plays or a drive, and if we didn't drive and score, then we had to punt it, boom. Then the other offense, so it'll be one offense versus the 2 defense, and eventually 1 offense versus 1 defense, and then 2 offense versus 2 defense, and flipping around 1 offense versus 2 defense, and 2 offense versus 1 defense. So seeing that and then going around, oh my God. So yeah, we were ready. And so obviously you won't see that at the college level, and you definitely won't see it at the NFL level. You will not see that. But that was the mindset, and that's how we conditioned our bodies when I was in Lincoln. But then having that in NFL, Bill Belichick did it too. It's like, for any player on my team, this is the time I need you. So if you get all out of rhythm, it only takes 1 week to get, 1 game and not playing and be off of rhythm, especially a quarterback with his receivers, his running back with his O-line, defense, the lead lineman with the linebackers and the DBs covering, that takes 1 week to get off your rhythm. You don't want that when you got Super Bowl, you got national title, or you got just a bowl victory waiting for you, and you take that week off because we already clinched the playoff. No, it's like, nah, bro, you're playing. Don't ask. We'll let you know when we're going to pull you out, and it might be a surprise, or we might not. I'm playing mind games with you. Like, just play it. Don't worry about nothing else. Just play the game, bro. That's it.
And that's all you want sometimes. But I'm curious, with 2016 being the last time Nebraska was able to get into a bowl game, that's the last time they were able to get those extra reps. How far do you think that set Nebraska back to have that many years in a row where the culture, just from the youngest guy to the oldest guy at this point in time, that culture is completely unknown to them, not because they didn't want it, just because it's just been an unfortunate skid for Nebraska football over the years. How much do you think that's hurt Nebraska culturally, just not having any experience in postseason play with any of the guys on the current roster?
It's a lot. It hurt a lot because that bowl game is an experience and a reward, right? You earn your way through the season. You won 6 or more games, minus Minnesota, which I still trying to figure that one out.
That one really bothers me because Minnesota, just real quick,
they 5-7.
They get
they're
that
2 games below 500.
It becomes what a bad year for Minnesota. They sneak in high APR. They beat Bowling Green, and guess what? Now they got more momentum going into next season because they managed to get 6 wins. They got a bowl game, and now they're actually feeling good about themselves. As opposed to if they would have lost 5-7. Just a quick tangent there. Just PJ Fleck and the Minnesota team. Not my favorite coach out there, but give them credit.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do about it? So, like I said before, I got into the Minnesota diversion there. The bowl game is a reward, so you earned your way there. When you're a team like we were built back in 95, 96, 97, that 96 season, obviously a lot of seniors were unhappy because we were going to a big bowl game, but it wasn't the title game.
Yeah, your guys' standard was title.
It was title, and the title that year was in New Orleans at the Sugar Bowl, and it was end up being, I think it was Virginia Tech and Florida State. They made it, or Florida, something like that. And then we're watching the game. I remember coming home watching. I think they played after us because we played first. And so, yeah, it is a lot for the seniors, for the last year players, like guys that come in later, transferred in now, with transfer portal that we have now. So if that bowl game is not one of those New Year's Day, Christmas Day, after Christmas, I say after Christmas, between New Year's and Christmas, one of those bowl games, and we have, like you mentioned earlier, some of the bowl names they have out there. It's like, come on, are you kidding me? They have. I'm not trying to make fun of this at all. I'm just bringing it up because it is a real bowl. It is called the Tony the Tiger Bowl. Now, as a kid, knowing who Tony the Tiger is, never once in my life, because I've been a college football fan since I was a kid and NFL fan. Never thought I would hear that his name in the same sentence as a bowl game. So it just blew my mind. About 4 years ago, I saw and heard, this is the Tony the Tiger Bowl. I'm like, what in the French toast is going on? But
yeah, and they seem to get a little more ridiculous every year. That's where we're at. You look at stadium names too. When I look at the Steelers, I'm always going to call the Steelers Field Heinz Field. But
yeah, that's a good name.
The money, it just changes nonstop, and that's how you get. The GoDaddy Bowl. I remember when that one first came around. That one was
that one was rough. That was a rough one. That was a rough one. I mean, like I said, there's reward for these teams, but like I say, some of the names are a little like off-putting. Like the one here, the famous Toastery Bowl. What's a Toastery, bro? Just tell me
that one. That one's actually got a fun tradition to it. I don't mind that one because they fill up the, instead of you dump the Gatorade on the couch, it's just a bunch of toast.
It's a bunch of what? You
toast. It's a thing full.
I'll take the toast. I'll take that over mayo for this bowl that West Virginia.
Yeah, it's mayonnaise.
It's mayonnaise. They got mayonnaise dumped on it. I'm like, no, I don't want mayonnaise dumped on me. No, I don't like mayonnaise on half my sandwiches. So no, don't put it on my whole body.
There's some of them are better than others. The Pop-Tart Bowl, that one as a player wouldn't mind that one. I don't know what the goodie bags look like for that, but you probably get a pretty long supply of Pop-Tarts with you. I'm just trying to look at some of these other names out here.
They have the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. So that's obviously in Boston. It's at Fenway Park. Wasabi.
No way they're dumping wasabi on the head coach.
Oh, yeah. You better not put that green hot stuff on me. But they got a wasabi bowl, bro. That's like saying it's like Heinz. That's ketchup. It's a condiment. But it's just interesting. Bad Boy Mowers Bowl. I didn't know it was a company named Bad Boy Mowers. Pinstripe Bowl. I did not know that existed as a company that makes that much money to pay college football to play in the stadium in Yankee Stadium.
I think that's always kind of the best part is you realize, like, wow, some of these companies got a lot more money than I thought they did. They afford enough for a bowl game. Bryce said Florida won the Natty in '96, if I remember right.
It was. Yeah, they won the next year. I think it was in Sugar Bowl. They played. I thought they played Virginia Tech or they played Florida State. One of the two. Well, they couldn't have played Florida State. Couldn't have. It had to be Tech.
Yeah, and just real quick here before we go to our next break here, I'm just going through some more of these names, but like obviously you get the bowl games that are a little more classic, but you get these newer ones like the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. The Hawaii Bowl would probably be the best one you could really go to if you're looking for those.
Yeah, for travel. On the beach. That's awesome.
And of course the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. That one's all right with me because that one's been there for a long time.
That one's okay
for me.
Yeah, they get grandfathered in. You don't get teased that much.
But it is interesting, and like we're talking about, we'll probably see some more unique bowl game names in the future. That or with this 12-team playoff thing, who knows what these bowl games continue to look like. But we do have to go ahead and throw it to our next break here on the Ahman Green Show. Ahman streaming in from Houston, Harrison on the ones and twos back at the Ticket Studio in 1040 O Street. Don't go anywhere. We've got one more segment on the other side.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
New year, new career. The new year is just around the corner. Why not start it off strong with a new career? General Excavating is looking for qualified underground utility project managers. Check out our website, generalexcavating.com, or call 402-467-1627 for more information. Happy holidays from General Excavating.
John Henry's would like to remind you, if you haven't already, to unhook your outdoor hoses and check faucets for leaks so your pipes don't freeze. As the official plumber of the Huskers, you know who to call when a plumbing issue arises. From frozen pipes to clogged drains, we can help you protect your home this winter. Give John Henry's a call today to schedule at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
I could write a commercial telling you how great waffle weekends are at the chocolate season. Or I could just have Rico read you the menu.
Banana Nutella topped Belgian waffle with homemade whipped cream, chocolate chips, and freshly sliced bananas. Baconator, buttermilk waffle with bacon slices tucked inside, topped with salted whipped butter, caramelized pecans, and pure maple syrup.
Waffle weekend brunches at the chocolate season.
PB&J.
40th and Old Cheney or online at thechocolateseason.com.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
This year, give the gift of delicious food, incredible service, and a lasting memory with the Pillar Restaurant Group gift card. When you purchase a $50 gift card, you receive a $5 bonus card, or purchase a $100 gift card to receive a $20 bonus card. These cards can be used at all Pillar Restaurant Group locations, including Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, The Butchery, The Bakery, and all Lincoln Good Sense Deli Fresh Subs locations. Available for purchase at any of our concepts or online at prgnebraska.com.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300. Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your weekly forecast for today, we'll see mainly cloudy skies. It'll be a little breezy at times. Otherwise, we'll see a high around 33. Tonight, mainly cloudy skies continuing. We'll see a low around 19. Tomorrow, probably sunny skies do return. We'll see an afternoon high a little warmer around 35. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Ahman Green Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment of the Ahman Green Show with the host Ahman. As always, streaming in from Houston. I'm Harrison, back at the Ticket Studios on 1040 O Street. Been a pretty good show so far. We're talking bowl games, talked a little bit of NBA hoops as well as the Detroit Pistons. They got another shot tomorrow versus the Boston Celtics. Uphill battle for them, and then they'll have one more game versus Toronto Raptors. If they don't beat the Celtics, they're really going to need that one to prevent having the record. Then they can at least tie it and talk about a Utah Jazz team from not too far long ago as well they can find themselves in the mix with. But you mentioned Bill Belichick before, and we were talking about Antonio Pierce yesterday. I think Pierce should be the guy for the Raiders, but I also think Bill Belichick should stay. How do you see those two coaching positions in the NFL going as we're getting towards the end of the stretch here? Do the Patriots keep Bill Belichick, and do the Raiders decide Antonio Pierce is our guy going forward?
I hope common sense sets in with Antonio Pierce that
I'm right
the
there
Raider, Mark Davis, the owner, CEO of the Raiders, continues to be the rebel. Because he's always been like his dad. He wants to go against the grain as everybody else does in the NFL. The Raiders always went the other way. NFL goes left, Raiders go right. So, make a change. Keep it where Antonio's still running the show, and give him a contract that's worth his due. And I say for the Patriots, I don't know, because we're talking about, are you going to be that administrator for the Patriots to say, hey, Bill, we're going to move on? It's hard to be that guy, that person.
That's just that
it'd be hard to be that person.
If you're gonna get put new blood in there, you got to be really careful what you're losing with that old blood in there, because there's things that he's done. The consistency. I understand the offense. If you're a Patriots fan, it's probably been, I want to rip your hair out at times, but the defense has still had plenty of games where they've played well, and it just seems like a few bad years, and to try to can him after that, I don't know. It almost feels Nebraska-esque or Chicago-esque, where you start going on these coaching runs and you fire a new guy, hire a new one. You can end up in a dark place really fast, because you talked about at the beginning, the grass is always greener. Not always true. It can get worse. And I think for Patriots fans, I'd be really hesitant to call out Bill Belichick. Maybe if it's a couple more years like this, I can start taking the argument a little more seriously, but I'd be nowhere near there. With Antonio Pierce, I got to keep him around. Now, I'll ask you about one more coach, the Chicago Bears, Eberflus. I don't think he's keeping the job, but with the quarterback situation, that's kind of the interesting story there with Justin Fields. I'm always big on Justin Fields, but
me too.
Eberflus
I like Justin
and said there is no decided starter for next season, so they're keeping that door open. How do you see them? Do you think it's a situation where they're leveraging Fields for a possible trade to kind of double dip in the drafts this year? They got a lot of options on the table, but I feel like getting rid of Fields wouldn't be the right move. It'd be hard to find a guy who's he's progressing. I don't care what you say. His throwing mechanics, you can argue, but I get nervous about getting rid of Justin Fields.
I still have I'm not even close to being a Bears fan, and this does not make any sense. It's like, what are you even contemplating putting Justin Fields, who is the quarterback of the future for your team, if you're developing him right? How you forget that his legs last season, not this season, but 2022 season, gave you 1,000 yards. Why you didn't build upon that going into this season to say, hey, we're gonna build off that. We're gonna keep defenses honest to let them know that we're gonna run and pass with you, and then develop his pass game, because we know the run game is there. We know his legs can outrun most defenses.
Yeah, I mean,
so how they
top speeds all the time,
right? How they miss if it was their quarterback coach, Eberflus, the head coach, the OC, if the OC is the quarterback coach, all that, how you missed that half of a season where you did not develop a pass game that catered to Justin, developing his talents and the throws that he liked to throw. Remember, I talked to you the other day. We talked about this, of asking players, what are your best run plays, right? Asking Justin Fields, what's your favorite and the comfortable pass plays that you want to run, that you want to throw? have that list of plays, mix it up. That's your job as an offensive coordinator to put together a game plan that caters to your the best player, one of the best players on your team. How you missed that from September and October, and then finally mid-October to November, they kind of figure it out. And it was like, it shouldn't even took that long. You should have figured this out in the offseason where you didn't have the season that you have now, even though they're still in the hunt, which is interesting at 6-9. Because just barely
chance on next gen stats. I got a 1% shot if all things fall right.
But you wasted 3-4 games of pure development that you should have did in the offseason, during spring, during training camp, where you already had the game plan. Because in my head, going into this season, I'm thinking Justin Fields is about to put another 1,000 on the ground, and we're looking at a potential 2,500 in the air. Maybe that's good, but that was not even nowhere near the case. So I could feel it'll be unfortunate because the game change of coaches going in and out does not help the organization. But it'd be no surprise that Eberflus was gone again, because it's like there's a miscommunication there. Like, how you missed?
I don't know if you caught in the last game. And you could tell me if this is common or not, or if I'm making too much out of this.
No, I didn't see the Bears game in my neighborhood here. I didn't see the
play
Bears
call, and Justin Fields, you can see he's visibly frustrated. He's putting his arms up, kind of yelling back at Getsy, the OC. Was not a fan of
that's right. Played it was at Green Bay. I know him. I know he's a developing play caller himself, and so he's not quite there. But yeah, to have that with your quarterback in week 15, that is a problem. And that's a communication problem where they're not developing. And I told you this, a lot of coaches in the NFL do not want to develop players because they feel, okay, if that's a first round pick, first round talent, I should not have to coach them on things. It's like, no, you're thinking the wrong thing. Not saying that Getsy is thinking that way, because he was in Green Bay. He developed some quarterbacks. He helped develop Aaron. He helped develop Jordan Love before he got out of there. So not saying him, but the atmosphere it floats in the atmosphere where coaches be like, I don't have time for that. I need to have a guy here. You're not going to have that guy here. I say very fortunate for Cleveland Browns. They were able to get Joe Flacco off the couch and do that.
Which the Jets said they didn't ever consider it, but I'm sure they would have loved to have Flacco on that squad as well.
That is a rarity. So that is a phenomenon where you're going to see that. And so, but to have a generational changing athlete on your roster, and you've been talking about shipping them off for the last 2 seasons, there's a problem there too with the GM, with the coaching staff. It's like, and you hear players watch TV, players get the news, they have cell phones, they hear this, and it's Chicago. It's a big city. I'm pretty sure he goes to the grocery store, he goes to a restaurant to eat, and Bear fans, they're fickle. They're kind of like Packer fans. If you're having a great time, they love you to death. But if you're having a bad season, they're gonna tell you how it is. You better hopefully the waiter likes you when you go to the restaurant. I've been to Chicago. I know this. I'm a Packer. I was in enemy territory plenty of times. So it's just a disconnect where from the organization. And I've been telling this to Bears fans that I know, that I grew up with. That I know, that I played against. That my wife, she's a Bears fan. I tell her, it's like, I'm a Packer, and I'm like, I feel sorry for the players there because it seemed like they are just not helping the players in the right situation to get there. This is a professional organization that has Super Bowls and are just totally missing the target on basic communication between players and coaches, coaches to coaches, players, coaches to administrators, GM, owners, all down to the water boy. You got to have clear communication in all areas for an organization to run clean and concise, and to where you don't have to have everybody happy, but you got to have everybody have respect for one another. That's one thing. And it's not there. It's loosely talked about probably, but yeah, it is. It's a bad byproduct as we see in Chicago Bear football.
I think step one is you get all those, you get everyone on the offense, Justin Fields, and you sit down, you watch some Ravens tape and see how they make it work. Use Lamar Jackson's legs. Take a few notes there. But nonetheless, we got to get out of here.
Yes, you're right here.
Streaming in as always. Don't punt hour.
Yes, indeed.
A couple of guests as well. We'll be right back.
Peace out, y'all.
Concrete Industries, a Nebco company, has immediate job openings for precast production laborers. Concrete Industries offers great pay,